Live.
Live? Nope.
We've been
Hello there.
we've been drinking, waiting for you guys.
That's what happened. We started with a full bottle of wine, and now we're at a half bottle of wine. So this is going to get really fun.
Yeah.
Actually, quite a bit of that wine went on into the San Marzano sauce, into the meatballs. So
and into the winemaker.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
vineyard
okay,
winemaker.
so there is that. But I think we were talking about some of the characteristics of this wine when we lost you, and it's not like we're living in the Silicon Valley or something like that where we should have awesome internet connection and not lose any connectivity to the outside world, but we're just little bumpkins out here in the vineyard. So who would have known?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I was saying. So I do.
The fruit.
Exactly. So I was saying, I get some really nice fruit here, but it's not like it's like fruit bomb, fruit punches. It's more dried, darker fruit. I often think of like dried plum jam.
And that's something that we're not going to get out of our vineyard. So that's as opposed to there's some other regions that they really get this kind of overripe fruit, which some palates enjoy that, and on occasion I do, but it tends to be too cloying, too much on my palate.
It's your mouth kind of tires.
It's like a velvet drape in your mouth, and I kind of want to cleanse it and move through it. So as a Bordeaux, I really prefer this style. And I am so distracted by the sizzling back here, and
I'm still listening, but
I don't know if you can hear the sizzling that I'm hearing, and I'm really excited to pick up get that in there. Just don't burn the cat. So this is it's called a dead cat, but we don't want to singe the cat.
So you guys can hear that.
We'll be quiet.
Yeah, there's some serious.
There's some meatballs cooking in there. There's some pork cooking, and we're gonna get to the Syrah in a minute. But the Cabernet is kind of a base in the two, and then the Syrah is gonna I picked that because there's a big pork component in this in tonight's cooking, and the Syrahs are just they're built for pork.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite barnyard animals.
Yeah, and
I just love the way how versatile it is. Moist it stays. Bacon, obviously, that's the basic, but how well it works with so many different pork dishes, and so let's get that one opened up, and again, these are our current releases. These are what we're drinking today, and it's exciting. I was just talking to John Allen from Coast View, and we're talking about harvest and going down to take a look at the vineyard. So kind of getting excited about that. It's everybody's kind of getting a little antsy. It's kind of like pre-season for winemakers.
Today was calling. I had a phone call with the dealer, and at the end of the call, he said like he wished me happy harvest, and I was like, oh damn it!
It's kind of like happy holidays.
It's this time of the year again. No.
Oh, come on! You cursed us last season, so I think we'll be all right this season. We're getting set up, kind of ready to go. All right, let's go. And immediately, what I notice is the kind of the inkiness in the glass and how it kind of paints the glass. The
color is just color. Like
it's a night and day.
We have nothing else, which is so intense.
Yeah, Syrahs just do that. They just paint the glass purple. It's always easy to tell when somebody's drinking that. It's just the glass comes back with this tinge of purple. Definitely got that kind of Syrah characteristics. I always get that Band-Aid box, and I don't know in Germany if you had. I always describe that. I remember my grandmother had these Band-Aid brand, which was a brand in the United States, and these metal boxes, and it has a Band-Aid smell, and in a good way. Not a dirty Band-Aid, but a clean. Obviously not, but it's it's going to heal a wound type thing. But that's one of the aromas that I get on kind of a classic aroma on a Syrah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely kind of has that. There's kind of this a little bit of sweetness wafting off it for me. good berry fruit.
You have to ask I don't know whether my mom is still on. She was trying to be. She was in the beginning, but then we had internet problems, and so she may have gone to bed. But if you're still on, you would know about the Band-Aid smell, I guess. Like the.
Well, she's a nurse.
Yeah, the brown, not the Leukoplast, but the other one, the brown. I know. I think you know what I mean. The brown things you always use for us. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it healed you well, obviously.
Yeah,
so you're still here.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So that's definitely a big one. The tannin structure, is very different. Composed as juxtaposed to the Cabernet. They're big red wines. Softer tannins. Not near as. It's age worthy, but the Cabernet is will probably jump out another 5 to 7, 10 years.
Will outlive the Syrah for sure.
But it's still got great structure to it. Definitely a very good drinking window now, and as I said, enjoying the day. But speaking about a day, what do you think you could do if you were so if you work like Jonathan and I, we work fast, but in a day, what do you think you could do? You think you could build a vineyard?
Well, it depends on the vineyard, and depends obviously on the planning and the management.
But of course, just getting everything ready. But if you were really fast, I bet you could build one in about a minute. You think so?
I'm not sure. I mean, I
have faith in you. I have faith that you could do this. And
so well, let's see.
We actually built a vineyard, and under Jonathan's direction. And it was a fun project. And what we did is we did a time-lapse video of it. It's about a minute long, and it shows the full process. And I'm going to turn this over to Jonathan. He's going to try to narrate this thing in 1 minute and say what we're doing. But it goes fast, and it's fun to watch. So they're queuing it up.
And I may have to talk very fast and very sort of like bullet point kind of style. Will I see it too, you guys, on that little screen?
Is it going?
Can you see it? So far, I don't see anything there.
It's going. You're
okay.
Right.
So I'm going blind here.
Right.
I think what's happening is the first pictures you saw was me tilling the ground, ripping it, and now what we're doing is we're laying out the lines. So we're adjusting. We're designing where the rows will go.
Yep.
Now we go through and boom, put the stakes in. That took much longer than that, let me tell you.
You guys are fast.
Now we're putting in the first wire from which we will hang the irrigation system, the drip system, so we can water those young vines. You just saw some end posts going in at the bottom left corner, and now I think we're starting to plant.
Yep, those are planting.
Yeah, exactly. So we're planting.
You can see the sun coming over.
I guess that was it.
All right.
Okay.
So you get the planting going, and then the rest of the wires hanging, and it's a pretty incredible process. That was really probably about 7 days, 5 to 7 days.
Yeah, I mean, there was obviously downtime, and we did other things. We had a spray cycle in between. But
all told,
all in all, I think we were like 10 days working on it with the ripping. The ripper so happened to find a couple of buried pipes and conduits, and Dave was out.
Internet line.
Dave was out of internet for a while, So there's all these kinds of funny things when you dig in the ground, and like, oh yeah, 20 years ago somebody buried this here and thought nobody is ever going to dig this deep there, and then 20 years later,
you invited German in, and
it's like we have to get really deep into this, and so yeah. Yeah, it was definitely it is an utterly satisfying thing to see the finished vineyard in the end. But unfortunately, Tina cropped that out. But there was one time lapse I watched, from one day, and in the end of the day, I'm literally kneeling in front of this vineyard, just looking at it, and I'm pretty crushed. Yeah, that's probably difficult to understand for some people, but setting up, planting a vineyard, building a vineyard is a structure which is going to be there for 20, 30 years, potentially
40.
longer. And so, what you do there will last. And, depending on when you do it, may even outlive you. And so there's a lot of pressure. And also, among vineyard managers, there's always a little bit of a competition. There's a new vineyard there, and you drive by, and you're like, this one post is a little bit out of line, isn't it? And so there's always there's a lot of pride there, and so you try to get it just right, and the symmetry, and
you always see your own sins.
You do, but the neighbors do too, and so that's sometimes
they don't see them like you do. So it's, it's just like the wines. I taste these, and I could taste faults. Nobody else does. Hopefully, but you always see. I could have got that corner a little more lined up.
Exactly.
But that's what makes us artisans, and that's what makes that's what makes this this come out the way it does. So, you know what? Cheers to a new vineyard, and it's a new legacy. Something that's hopefully around for 4 decades, and it's, as I always call them, endurance athletes, and we just set up a new race to go. So why don't we taste the Syrah, and then let's
the tank, the barrel sample.
So this is a this Syrah. We're about to bottle it. It's 2018 Syrah, and you can see that's even bigger color. Obviously, a younger wine. And this was the first year that we did in a co-roti style. It was co-fermented with the.
Oh wow!
That's why I pulled this with that pork.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't smelled it, but I smelled it a couple days ago because I'm tasting these wines because we're getting ready to bottle them, and I'm tasting them, seeing what do I want to leave a little longer, maybe shorter.
No, this is
So this was co-fermented with the Viognier, gives it that co-pigmentation, which really draws out more color. It's a white Viognier. It's a white wine. You might think, why would you put a white wine in with a red wine? This is the reason. If you can smell this, and you will be able to smell it, but
this is so fragrant now, and I mean, perfumed has sometimes a little bit of a negative ring to it, but it's just has such a wonderful bouquet to it, and
I've really been enjoying this. I moved to summer and look at this wine, and it really just screams for a pork style dish.
Yeah. Well, that being said, should we
bring out
serve?
a pork style dish? So we've got our bread that's out here, been out there. This thing is tasting phenomenal. I'm gonna put that there so we don't burn our wood. So I did a San Marzano style tomato, just rustic ragu. And did some Asiago meatballs. Those were done, kind of came out, and I've got a time lapse video that we'll share with that. These will pair up nice. And then Jonathan did some ham hocks and scored the. Here. Put it on the glove and get the glove off your hand. So, I mean. You may notice we're using welding gloves.
Yeah, these are welding gloves, but they're still not enough.
Still pretty thin for pull it out of this oven. It's just crazy how hot this oven gets.
Yeah.
So we've got some ham hocks that are scored.
Yeah. So what I did here,
awesome.
These are ham hocks with the skin on. That is crucial, and they're a little bit bigger than the little smoked ones you can get at the supermarket for the collard greens when you do the Thanksgiving. Meal.
Slide that off the cut board.
There we go. And the trick is you boil them first in water, but I don't boil them in water. I boil them in beer and pepper and a little garlic and onion and caraway, and then because that really softens the skin, and then basically they're completely done, cooked. And then you just throw them under the broiler, and then the skin crisps up, basically like the chicharrones when you go to a Mexican supermarket. And that's one of the things I'm fascinated by when I work with my coworkers in the vineyards. 2 are from Mexico, 1 is from El Salvador, and we eat often lunch together. And the what we eat, there's often pork and like liver or kidney and things like that. They're very similar to the things we eat in Germany. The spices are different, obviously, but the way they're prepared, like crispy or like stewed for a long time, and the parts we eat is very familiar to me, and I'm fascinated by that. That two countries which seem so different have very similar tastes for similar parts of the animal, which I find interesting.
All right, so I cut the bread. Go ahead and trim some of that off there. Yeah, and Jonathan and I were talking about this earlier in the week when we were talking about the different ingredients that everybody cooks with, and it's always fascinating to me as a chef that all the different foods and then the cooking styles, and it's just kind of like what the indigenous ingredients are cooked in a very similar style. And you can always find parallels with what we're cooking, in the United States, locally, regionally, and how that works, and it's just different ingredients that you have.
Yeah.
So we always took ham hocks and we put them in pinto beans and cooked them down in there. And I just it's kind of pork and beans was a staple in the United States, was this little piece of bristly fat that was in that. They called that pork and beans, but I mean we always did pinto beans, cooked them down in with a nice smoked ham hock. Yeah. That was one of the best meals. My dad loved that, and I was it's what I grew up on. So anyways, we're Michael Dean, you're out there. Hello. I hope you had a great bike ride, great walk in the morning. Michael, I'm going live and saying keep up the good work. He's really been working hard on getting out, doing something different, doing something good for his body. And I know you told me this week you weren't doing any booze, but that's a really sad thing. So if you have a glass of wine is good for you, on a daily basis. Exactly. Are you not sharing with me?
It's called quality control.
All right.
By the way,
okay.
I got you a little present.
Oh.
So, in order to get these ham hocks, there's a German butcher in Los Altos where I go to, and they have all kinds of funny little paraphernalia. And so,
do I have to read this?
I got this. Should I read it to you? His eyesight.
Yeah, it's it's a winemaker's eye. It's it's all this stuff. German house rules, HAUS. If you turn it on, turn it off. If you open it, close it. If you move it, put it back. If you borrow it, return it. If you break it, repair it. Well, thank you, because that's the worst thing around here. If you make a mess, clean it up. If it's none of your concern, keep it that way. And I like that. If it's none of your concern, keep it that way. Mind your own business. I love it. All right, those are great rules. Jonathan and I
would like those.
we work together a lot of late hours, a lot of early hours, and he's always talking to me about German proverbs, and then so he's always telling me about some funny ones. So I like now to have some house rules.
House rules,
so,
exactly.
And we are a house.
We're a house, indeed, exactly.
So,
all right.
Well, you know what, Karen Dunn is out there, and she loves the brand. Karen, we love that you love the brand. Hope you're enjoying a glass of House Family Vineyard wine tonight. This is we'll get some of these recipes up online. We love doing these virtual tastings. We also love having you to our location here. Our vineyard. We're an outdoor venue, super safe.
Always a little breeze going on here.
Yep, and it's great. People have really been enjoying getting out. The fact that people really aren't traveling a whole lot. This is kind of the quick daycation in the afternoon that people are taking off. So we're open Thursday through Sunday. Check out the website. We've got the hours there, and we just love to see you out in a very safe manner. Current vintages: 14 Cabernet, 16 Syrah. We're gonna bottle this here pretty soon. Who knows? Maybe if you're up, ask us. We'll get you a sample of that. So recipes coming, wine that's here. Love sharing this with you. So stay safe out there.
Indeed.
And
See you soon
until
again.
next time, cheers.
Cheers.